Okay, so anyways, I was talking about Sunday night. I don't know. I guess after Thanksgiving and everyone had left and whatnot to go home, Mom and Dad, I guess they were getting tired or whatnot and decided they were going to go to bed. Brian had took Rosaire, Tammy, Christopher, David home, and then he came back. And, I didn't want to stay in. I wanted to go out because Jason had mentioned he wanted to go to the casino. So when Brian got back, I says, well, what do you want to do? And he's like, yeah, well, it's kind of getting late and we got to get up early kind of thing. But then we decided, okay, I guess Julia was sleeping. I don't even remember Julia going to bed or anything. But she was sleeping. So Mom and Dad were deciding to get ready for bed. And we decided to go to the casino. So I said, okay, well, I really don't want to go to the casino. Why don't we just drop Pam and Jay off? They can go in. Because I had no money to go into the casino. I said, well, they could go in, and when they're done, they'll call us. Pam's like, no, you guys can come in and just walk around. And then she's like, okay, I'll give you money. So we made a decision we were going to go to the raceway to do, play slots. So we had less than half an hour when we got there, we found out. So I played 3 different machines. And the last machine, I was doing really good. Okay, my sister gave me $20, and I managed to get up to $68. So I'm playing, and well, the security guy came around and said it's time to cash out. I ended up cashing out with, let's see now, I think it was $54 I ended up cashing out with, and some change, I guess. So I decided to split it and gave $25 to my sister, and I had $25. So I'm like, alright, that's pretty cool. So we went and got gas because we needed to get gas, and we were just hanging around, having a good time. Whenever I get to go down to Windsor, I like to go to Windsor at least twice, because I don't always get to go there, and it's so much fun down there, driving around and seeing what's new, what's up, and whatnot. So, we finally managed to get back to Mom and Dad's and go to bed. Brian wanted to watch another movie again. I said, well, it's getting late, we have to get up early on Monday, we wanted to. Well, guess what? Did we end up getting up early? No. We ended up waking up, and it was 9:30, close to 10:30. So we got up, everybody got ready, we got all our stuff together, we had breakfast, whatnot, chit-chatted for a bit with Mom and Dad, and then finally we just, got everything together, said our goodbyes, and we were on our way to Sarnia. Had a nice little drive there, and so when we finally got to Sarnia, we called Dad and said that we were there, and we'd be an hour and a half or whatever before we got to Grandma's house. Well, let me tell you, this whole entire trip, Brian and I had our little arguments and our tiffs or whatever, but then we were happy as pie, and we got along, not a problem. So we decided we wanted to go visit somebody, but we weren't sure because the person had said that they might be at it's kind of like their fall fair. So we just decided, what the heck, we're going to swing by anyway. So we got to the right apartment, and we buzzed them up. Well, the one person. And it was so cool because she lives in the same building as her daughter. So when she came to get us, because they got this new system. Well, I'm sure you guys know apartment buildings, and there used to be this button you used to push and you used to say hello. Well, now they're changing everything with the telephone. So certain buildings are slowly getting upgraded and whatnot, and her building finally got upgraded. And so she came down to get us. She's on the main floor, and her daughter lives up, I think, on the 4th or 5th floor. I don't know what floor she lives on because we didn't get to go to her apartment, but it was so cool. Her daughter was at her house. Okay, you're probably wondering who these people are. Well, this woman we went to visit, her name is Joan. An amazing woman. Well, many years ago, when I was a baby, my mom wanted to go back to work. And my mom worked at Train Villa nursing home. I think she washed pots and pans and helped with the food and whatnot. But my mom placed an ad in the newspaper saying that she needed a babysitter. And Joan answered the ad in the newspaper and called my parents, and they made arrangements, and she was my babysitter. And I'm not sure if she actually got a chance to babysit my sister, but her daughter, Susan, when she got old enough, like she was in high school at this particular time, and when she was old enough, she was able to, babysit me and my sister. When my parents used to go there once a week bowling, because we didn't live very far from them. So I guess they would go bowling once a week and then have Susan babysit us. And then my dad would be such a gentleman and walk Susan home and make sure she got home okay. And he used to always have her walk, like, on the other side of him. And he would walk near the road. And she always wondered why. And she asked him, she says, Brian, why do you do that? He says, well, it's being a gentleman. You have to protect the women. As Joan put it, it's like an open invitation to your wife, partner, friend, whatever, that sort of thing. Men have to protect women. So I'm like, wow. I had mentioned to her, I says, Brian, my husband does that kind of thing. So now I know and I understand why they're doing that sort of thing. But it was great seeing them. They were just getting ready to go out. Not that long. They were waiting for Sue's brother, Joan's son, to come. I don't know. I don't even know I don't know if they were going to meet him or what the case was, or I don't know. They were just waiting to hear from her son, Sue's brother. And then they were going to go for dinner because, as Sue says, she's not a cooker. I says, girl, you're like me. If I can do everything in the microwave, I would. But, I do cook. Don't get me wrong. So we had a nice visit with them. We were chit-chatting, and I guess Dad called and said dinner was ready. And we were chit-chatting, and the guys were getting irritated because Joan likes to talk like me. And my sister's starting to become a talker once we get into conversation. But we said goodbye to them. They walked us to the door, and it was great seeing them. And we made it to, we were on our way to Dad's, and Brian was getting frustrated, and I was getting confused. Like, I know how to get to Grandma's, but when people keep asking and saying all this stuff, my brain gets all jumbled up and everything, and I'm like, okay. We were getting lost, and finally we made it there. Had a wonderful dinner with my dad. His sister was there, and her son, Harrison. We heard so much about this little guy. We've never met him. Well, he is in grade 1, and what's really cool is, well, you see, where my grandma lives, if you look, right across the street, there's a house. And right across the street from that house, you look right behind it, that's their house. They can walk to Grandma's. So they walked there, and Harrison just loved Juliet. So we had dinner, and then we had ice cream and pie. The kids were playing, and Dad showed us this great big screen TV. And to me, it's too big. 55-inch, too big. And his home theater system. It was nice, but too big for me. So after they cleaned up and everything, we had dessert and that. The kids were playing, and we were chit-chatting with Grandma and Dad. And Dad gave me a nice birthday card, and Grandma gave us some money, which was really nice of her. She always does when we go down, which is really nice. And then Julia got some money from Dad, from Grandma. Well, the same amount. So that was nice. And then Dad decided to show us a video of my brother's family. I guess his wife's mom decided to buy them a video camera, and they were having so much fun with this video camera. They just, like, she couldn't put it down. So she was videotaping things over the summer and things that they did and milestones of my nephew. So I was just so happy to see him. It's hard for me to believe that he's almost 10 months old, and you know, he's so adorable, and he's a very good baby, like never a problem. So we watched the whole video and chatted a little bit more, and then we decided, okay, it was time to go. And Julia was fussing up, and she didn't want to leave. Finally, we left, and I wanted to go to the bank, the money in the bank, and get the money for my Avon lady for this week when my order comes in. But we ended up not going. We got into an argument.